Okay guys, so today's video is all about accordions and we are going to cover 8 unique features which you won't find in any other Elementor ecosystems. Now thanks to the Plus add-ons for Elementor, you'll soon be able to display information in a very user-friendly way. Now as you can see behind me, we'll start with hack number 1, which is connecting accordions with carousels. So basically here, as you can see, we're going to link those tabs to sliding images. And we are going to build this very first one together from scratch. Hack number 2 will add a search bar to the accordion content. And then hack number 3 will add paginations. So if you have quite a few tabs, it will display in a very user-friendly manner. Hack number 4 will discover how to add an autoplay to open the different tabs. Then we'll see how to add images or videos inside your accordion content. Then instead of the traditional vertical layout, this time we'll cover the horizontal accordion. Then we'll add a group, expand and collapse button. And finally, hack number 8 will open accordions on hover instead of clicking on the tabs. And as a bonus, we'll cover a few special features as well, so make sure to stick till the end of this video. Okay, so let's get started with hack number 1. Okay guys, so we have a very special treat for you today. We have 8 different hacks all related to accordion. So by the end of this video, you'll know everything there is to know about accordions, okay? So as you can see, the very first one is connecting accordions with carousel. So let's get started with this one. And we're going to start from scratch, the full design step by step. Okay, so let's add a section here in between. We're going to select this type of structure here, okay? And now let me push this one down a little bit just for now, out of sight, while we design this one. Okay, so from here we are going to add our container. So we go back to our widgets, so drag and drop, and now we can duplicate this one. And as you can see, now we have 2 containers, one on the left, one on the right, and now we can insert our widget within those 2. Okay, so we go back here. The first one is called accordion, and all the widgets we're going to use are from the Plus add-ons, obviously, you know. So drag and drop, and on the other side we're going to add another one that's called carousel anything. So again, from the Plus add-on, so this is the one here, drag and drop. So this is basically our main structure now. Okay, so let's add a background color first. So we click on our main container, we go to style, we're going to select a classic color, and let's add maybe a dark purple. Okay, and then we can add some edges maybe here by the side. So we go to shape divider and let's select zigzag on top. We're going to put it full width, so 300, and the height, let's go maybe with 15. So not too big, not too small, just a perfect ratio. And we do the same for the bottom. So again, we're going to select zigzag, 315 here at the bottom. So that looks good now, doesn't it? So now let's take care of our accordion here. So we're going to add our different tabs. So as you can see, it's only 2 tabs at the moment, but you cannot see one, obviously, you know. But let's do this together. So we're going to create the first one. So let's give this a title. So maybe this one will be called tab number 1. Obviously, you would put any title that you want, you know. And here we're going to put a little bit of dummy content. So paste whatever you want here, literally whatever text you want to display, basically, you know. Now, if you look at the content source here, you can select among 2 different options. You have content and page template. So content, this is what we just did. You can just type some text, whatever you want, basically, okay. And you can also select page template. So we are going to discover this with the other widget here on the right hand side. So we're not just going to cover this now, we're going to leave it as is, okay? And then you're going to do the same, exact same with the other tab, basically. So you could delete this one, perhaps, you know, again, duplicate it, duplicate again, and then we can tweak things around, basically, you know. So this could be tab number 2, and then you can have tab number 3. So that's basically everything for our tabs now. Now you may have noticed that we only see tab number 1 at the moment, and that's because the other tabs, the color is too similar to the background color, so it's basically fading away. So if you go back here to style, we can start tweaking things around, okay? So as you can see from here, you can tweak literally everything. You have the icon, the title background, the content background, the hover style, and on-scroll view animation. So let's go through this one by one, okay? So first we're going to add a background color. So this is probably the easiest one to see the contrast between the text and the background. So let's click on title background. And as you can see, you have normal mode and active mode. So basically, once you click on a tab, this becomes the active one and all the others are the normal ones, okay? So let's add a color to the normal one. So maybe let's select white. So as you can see immediately here, now we can read the content of the other tabs. And then we can select a color for the active one. So let's go maybe with a vibrant purple or something like this. Perhaps a lovely color, you know, maybe a bit darker than this. Perhaps something like this. This would be absolutely fine. Very good. So let's add a little bit of breathing space all around it. Okay, so we can use the inner padding here. So let's try a little bit. Let's increase that maybe to 25. I think that looks perfect. And then we can have rounded edges maybe on top just for the active one. So as you can see, you have the border, box border here. So we can enable this now. And we're going to add, so we're not going to select anything here. So no borders basically. Okay, so we're going to set this to 0. But what we're going to do is to use the border radius. So we're going to unlink those values and we're going to select only top and right. So let's try 10 maybe. We're not going to try too rounded, you know. Yeah, 10 is fine. So let's go 10 and 10 on each side. And as you can see, it's just the top edges that are actually rounded here, as you can see where I'm pointing, okay? Now, obviously, as you can see, the font color is not okay. So for this, now we go to title, and this is where we can tweak the color, the font, and everything we want, okay? So as you can see, the color is right here. So for this, we're going to go to active because we only want to change the color for the purple background. And now we're going to select white instead. So there you go. Now we have the perfect contrast between background and the title itself. And obviously you can change everything related to the font. All you have to do is go to typography. You can select the different family, change the size. You can select the thickness of your font and all that. But we're going to leave it as is because it looks fine the way it is. And you can also play around with the size of the icon that's displayed here. In relation to this, if you want the icon to be displayed on the other side, which is perhaps preferable, you can go to icon and as well here. And then from here, you can select the alignment. So at the moment it's aligned to the left, but maybe you prefer to have it aligned to the right. So whichever way, you know, this is just a matter of preferences. And then obviously you can change the color, the active color as well. You can change the gap. So this is basically the distance between the text here and the icon itself and the icon size. Again, you can make it bigger or smaller. So let's just leave it the way it was. Maybe 15 points is fine. Now we might want to increase the contrast between the text and the background here. So for this, we go to content. And again, we can select the font, which we go to typography. And let's just change the color for now. So let's select a brighter color with a bit more contrast. So this is much easier to read. So this would be just about perfect. So let's put this to the test now. So we have tab number 2 and tab number 3. And as you can see, as you click on it, the icon will change color as well. Now, if you wanted to change the icons here, you can do so as well. You go back to content, you have icon options, and there it is. This is where you can change them. This is using Font Awesome, obviously, you know. So you could change this maybe for an eye or something like this, you know, and then a slash I for a closed window, whichever you prefer again, you know. But let's just keep plus and minus for this example, which is absolutely fine. Now let's take care of the second section here, which is called Carousel anything. There you go. And as you can see at the moment, we have slide 1 and slide 2 by default. So clearly here we have 3 different tabs, tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. So we want the image to slide respectively based on those 3 different tabs. So what we need to do on this section here is to also create 3 different contents that we are going to link respectively to the 3 different tabs. Okay, so let's take care of slide number 1. So as you can see, the first option is the title. So let's keep that simple. Slide 1, we're going to call this slide 1, slide 2, and slide 3. And you select the type of content. So as you can see, you can use a shortcode as well. So you could insert a form, for instance, or whichever plugin that's linked to your WordPress installation. In our instance here, we're going to use a template. And as you can see at the moment, we don't have any template yet. So what we need to do beforehand is to create our 3 different slides using Elementor, and then we can link them back here. Okay, so for this, we go back to our WordPress dashboard. We have Elementor, just underneath we have template. So open this. And now we can create a new template. So let's add a new one. So we're going to create one together. So the first option here is to select a container and let's give it a name. So we're going to call this slide number 1. Okay. And let's create our template. So as you can see, by default, Elementor is going to display the header and footer of your website that come by default with your theme. But don't worry about that, because once we insert that into our widget, it will automatically only display the content of this template itself. Okay, so now we need to create a section. So let's select this structure here, and we're going to insert an image basically. Okay, so we drag and drop image here. And let's select our first image. So let's select an image from our library. So let's, for instance, select this one here. So this one is called one PNG. So let's insert. And now we want to center this in the middle of our section. So for this, we go back to our container. And as you can see, we have center. So this will be perfectly centered. And now we can publish. And that's basically it. So now if we go back to our WordPress dashboard, we can go ahead and do the same with another two. So we have slide number 1, so we can add a new one. So I'll do that very quickly. I'll create those two different ones now. So there you go. As you can see, now we have slide 1, slide 2, and slide 3, and now we can insert them into our widget. So let's go back here. So let's click on slide 1 and let's select our template. So this one will be called slide 1. There you go. As you can see, now it is displaying properly. And now we can do the same with the other two. So a quick shortcut here basically is just to delete this one. And now we can duplicate this one again and then change the name. So as you can see, this one will be slide 2. And then we can select the template, slide 2. Can close this one and then go to the next one. This one is slide 3 and select the template, slide 3. There you go. Very good. So now we have 3 different slides. Now, how can we connect this to the actual accordion here? So let me show you this now. So as you can see right underneath, we have a unique carousel ID. And this is what we need to do. We need to create a unique ID that we're going to share between those two. And this is how they're going to work conjointly together. So let's type something. So basically it's a unique ID again. Okay, so let's create something, for instance, accordion slider, and then you can copy this, Control-C, and now we're going to go back to our accordion. We go to the special options, scroll down the options, and here we have the carousel connection ID, and let's paste this one here. So now those two are linked together. So let's put this to the test. At the moment we're tab number 1, so let's click on tab number 2. There you go. We have a different image, and tab number 3, a different image again. So let's go back to tab 2 and perhaps tab 1, and as you can see, those images are sliding respectively depending on which tab we click on. How amazing is that? Now there's a few more options we can take care of on this side. If you click on this, as you can see at the moment, we have 3 different dots here. So this is just to help the visitors click from one to the other. You might not want to have this at the same time as you have the tabs here. So for this, we can go to style, and right here you can customize basically everything, you know. So you have draggable, so you could use the mouse basically to go from one to the other. You might want to keep this. And then you have infinite mode, so it will loop, and so on and so on. So you have the autoplay, and there is the option we're going to disable basically is the show dots, you know. So we're going to just remove this for this example here, which is probably better. Now we'll let you discover all these different options here, which are pretty self-explanatory. So that's basically it for this option here. And now we can go back to our main container and add a bit of breathing space on top and bottom. So we go to advanced, we go to padding, and we could just maybe add 50 on top and 50 at the bottom. Yeah, maybe a bit less at the bottom, maybe 20, and there you go. This is fantastic now. Very good. And now let's move on to hack number 2. So hack number 2 is adding search bar to accordion content. So we're not going to design all these others together. Obviously, we're just going to import the demo content. We've designed the first one together, and the principle remains the same throughout the whole video, basically. Okay, so let me import demo content for hack number 2 now. So here's a nice example for you. So let's say you created an accordion section for answering questions like an FAQ, something like this. So you might have a series of several questions, a lot of content, obviously, to maybe to digest. If someone wants to look for something specific and doesn't want to scroll through all the questions one by one. So let's give you an example here. I know the word dummy is part of those, and as you can see, only 2 tabs are open now because these are the only 2 questions where the content, where the word dummy is actually present, as you can see. Okay, now if I was to do the same with the word THE, as you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions open because the word the is present in those 5 different questions. Okay, so this is basically how it works. Now, as you can see, the content is right here with all our different tabs. So you just put the question and then the answer underneath. Okay, so very easily, you can add them very easily like this. And then we have the special options here. So this is where you're going to insert the search bar here. So if you scroll down, as you can see, we have here search feature. So if you disable this, as you can see, it will not display. If you enable it, it will then display right on top. Okay, so right here with the length. So what's this about? As you can see, it's set to 3. So basically this is the amount of minimum characters that you need to type before the search starts. So we were looking for the term dummy. So if you type DU, nothing happens. But if I type DUM, as you can see, this will show us all the articles with DUM within the content. Okay, so this is basically it. And then we also have the placeholder. So this is basically what's written here, article name or keywords. So you could replace this with whatever you want, you know. So I could type maybe search through all the questions. As you can see, this has changed, and you can change the icon as well. At the moment it's magnifying glass. If you click on this, you can replace this with whatever you want, you know. So again, very simple and very efficient indeed. So next we have our third hack. So hack number 3 is very fitting based on what we just did, is to add pagination for multiple FAQ accordions. So let me import a demo now. So there you go. As you can see, with our accordion here. So if we click on this, as you can see, you have 6 different tabs. Now you might want to break this down in different pages, in which case you can use pagination, you know. As you can see at the bottom, we can go from one page to the other. So for instance, I could go to the next one, display the next 3, and so on and so on. So if you had, for instance, maybe 12 or 15 or 20 of them, you don't want to display that as a long list. It's maybe too difficult on the eye, and maybe overpowering as well for your users, you know. So to provide them with the best interaction and best user experience, you can go into the special options here and enable paginations. As you can see, slider paginations, enable. So as you can see, you can define how many you want per page. At the moment you have 3, as you can see. So this will amount to 2 different pages. And then you can change the icons as well, previous page and next page. And again, if you wanted to change this for something else, all you have to do is click on it and select the icon that suits you best. Okay. So that's basically it for this one. So let's move on to the next one. So this one is AutoPlay to open Accordion. So let me import the demo again. And here we are now. As you can see, we have an autoplay, so it will automatically go from one tab to the other. As you can see, it's doing this automatically. Now, if we click on the widget itself, we have a few options. So these are the 4 tabs that we have. So that's the same usual, you know. So you put in the title, you select if it's content or page template. You create as many as you want. And now if you go to the special options here and scroll down, as you can see, you have the option to enable autoplay. And then you can have a play button just underneath like here. So if you click on it, you can enable it or disable it. And then you have the choice of different icons. So the play icon, the pause icon. So the duration here is in seconds. So at the moment it's 5 seconds. So we'll take 5 seconds to load up completely and move on to the next one. The color here is the color of the progress bar that displays underneath. And the border size, it's this basically in pixels, is the thickness of that progress bar. So if I was to increase this maybe to 5, and let's have a quick preview just to show you in the front end what it looks like. So there we have it. As you can see now, the progress bar is pink. It will take 5 seconds to load from one tab to the other, and also the thickness of that progress bar is 5 pixels now. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. So this one is add images or videos inside Accordion content. So let me load up the demo content again. So here is our example. As you can see, we have 4 different tabs, and we need to add a template like we did earlier on. So basically you would create this way. You would type the title here, and then you select page template instead of content, but obviously you can add content as well. But because we want to add images this time or videos, we have to create a page template. So how do we do so? Well, again, we go back to the WordPress dashboard, you go underneath Elementor, templates, and you can create a new one. So I created a new one here already called inside images inside an Accordion tab. So let me edit this with Elementor and show you the content. So what you would do basically is click add new, select container, and then give it a name. Okay. And basically with Elementor, you can design it the same way we've done it here. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, we have a container, we have different images and everything with a slider. And once this is created, you can then insert it inside your tabs, inside your accordion. So how do you do so? Again, you select page template here, and then you can select the container itself. So this is the one here. So let's insert it inside. Now, as you can see, it is not displaying at the moment. If you want to see it in the backend, you have this option here, backend visibility. So if we enable this, as you will see now, it will show up properly. And here are our images, and then you can do so with the other tabs. So I've done that already. So if you were to open the others, it will display the images, and again you can display images and videos as well. Very good. So let's move on to the next one, and this one is horizontal accordions. So again, let me import the demo content. So here is our demo content, and as you can see, this one, if I click on those tabs, they will display horizontally. So that's the only difference between the two. So the principle remains the same. We have a content here. So as you can see here, we have the content. This is a template. You can select which template you want to display. If you want to preview this in the backend, you can enable the backend visibility. What's the difference then? Basically, if you go to special options, as you can see, the horizontal accordion is enabled. And then from here on, you have a few different options. As you can see, you can select two different layouts, layout 1, and this is layout 1. So as you can see, it's slightly different. As you can see, the title is displaying on top, and layout 2, the title is displaying at the bottom of the tabs. And then you can select the height as well in pixels, the title width, and the open and close speed as well in milliseconds. And that's basically it for this one. So let's move on to the next one, which is group, expand, and collapse button. So again, let me import the demo content. So here is our next example. So as usual with our tabs here, and if I wanted to discover the content, I have to click on them, and it will then reveal the content of the tab itself, as you can see. So that's the usual, you know. Now, what if I wanted to open all of them all at once in just one click of the mouse, or close them all at once with just one click of the mouse? For this, we have an extra option here. If you go to special options, and here, as you can see, you have expand collapse content button. Now, if you enable this, as you can see, it will reveal a new button here on top, collapse all or expand all. And in just one click of the mouse, we can reveal all the content or close down all the tabs with just one click of the mouse. And obviously, you can tweak this around. As you can see, of the position here, it says before, but you can put it after if you want as well, you know. So basically, it will display at the bottom of our section, and you can change the text as well, collapse all, expand all, based on your personal preferences, obviously, you know. So that's basically it for this. So let's move on to the next one, hack number 8, and final one is open accordions on hover. Okay, so here is our last example. So basically the difference here is that you don't have to click on the tabs to reveal its content. All you have to do is basically hover on top. So I'm just going to hover here. As you can see, I'm not clicking on them, and it will reveal its content. So how can you enable this feature? Well, basically, if you go to the special options here, that's where it is. You have on hover accordion. Very good. And now let me show you the other options that we haven't covered yet. So for this, we go back to the top. Let's select this one here, and let's go back to special options. So as you can see, the first option here right on top is the active accordion. So at the moment it says 1, but if you were to select 2, it would by default open tab number 2, as you can see, or maybe you want to open tab number 3. Again, this is an option that's available to you if you wanted to highlight a specific question or a specific tab or a specific content. Now, if you select 0, by default, none of them will be opened. Another option we haven't covered is the stagger animation. So for this, we're going to go to our own website, the Plus add-ons. We have a demo here. So for this, I have to reload the page and see what it does. Okay, so let's refresh the page now. And as you can see, this is what the stagger animation does. It's loading it slowly, step by step, which is a very nice animation, you would agree. So this is also another option available to you. And the last options we need to cover is this one here, is SEO schema markup. So this is a bit more technical. If you're not familiar with this, basically it will help to structure your content based on Google's own requirements. There's an FAQ schema question and report here that you can read through if you wanted to, and to basically find out what it's all about. Okay, so these are basically all the options related to accordions. So there you go, guys. That's basically it for now. Now, if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, and also feel free to share this with all your Facebook communities so this content can be of help to anyone. Now we have 120 plus different widgets. So if you want to discover more of these, we're going to leave a playlist right here.